One step to the left, one step to the right. I see something that I think I might like. Dropping bodies on sight. Got a smile that can make me take flight. Pretty boy come through with a pretty boy life and a pretty boy joke. Yeah, I got that. Came to this party feeling pretty bad. My boo came along and I'm pretty glad. Come dance the night away with me. Up on the dance floor. We make everyone jealous. I know with this love shit I can get reckless. And I don't wanna wreck this. Come be mine.
Yo. What's up, everybody? Mondays for the mind.
Mondays for the mind. One of these days, man, we're gonna get through all of this.
Yes.
You know what it is other people have somebody behind the scenes that hit all these buttons. You know, and
Or like one of those little touchpad things where you can just be like, you know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna have to pull up the freaking tab. But yeah, no, another Mellow Monday here again. I'm sure people will notice that my backdrop is a little bare compared to usual. This is probably the last Monday I'm going to be in this place. Probably have a new location come next Monday's show.
Nice.
So we've had some good times, good memories. But now we're going to have a good time today. We got a guest joining us today. Let's see if I don't fuck this up.
Kange,
right?
Kange.
Yeah, Kange.
Yeah.
Hey.
Good to have you on.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem. I believe you said you were over in France right now, right?
Yeah, so it's like 10 p.m. where I am.
10 p.m. Nice. Yeah.
Thanks for joining us so late.
It's no worries at all. Like I probably would have been up until this time anyway.
That's been kind of new for us. We've had a few. I think like a couple weeks ago, we had some people from all over the place on the show, and she was in the Netherlands, and it was like 2-3 o'clock in the morning over there when she was doing.
Wow, that's dedication.
Damn.
Because sometimes trying to like do stuff with Americans or just people on the other side of the world, the time difference is just you have to be really like up for it, you know.
Yeah.
That's why we try to, if it's that big of a difference, like let's find a time that works for all of us and we can just pre-record this and put it out when we do.
Because there's always a time that's in the middle that's like kind of not too late for the other person and not too early for the other person.
Right. So yeah, you are a musician.
Yep.
We both checked out some of your music. That's like your newest song, right? That just came out yesterday, right?
Like Thursday, I think, on the 11th. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I dig it.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to put out songs a bit more consistently, but yeah.
I noticed that on your YouTube that you seemed pretty consistent, which is cool to see because I feel like we know a lot of musicians, we do stuff ourselves, and it's like that consistency isn't always there. I feel like.
Yeah, man, and it annoys me so much because when you look up like videos on like marketing or anything like that, it was like consistency, and it's like, but if you're working a 9 to 5 and you have other things to take care of, you don't necessarily, or you're not able to be consistent, you know?
No, I feel that. I've done music for a long while now, and like the artists that I was listening to when I was growing up, that's kind of what they started to do. Like Cottonmouth Kings was a good example of, they had those big budget music videos that they'd pop out with, but then they had you can obviously tell it's a handheld, camera, somebody just filming them on the street somewhere to have a single for another song, just because it's like, you're constantly dropping a video.
Yeah. And then it would be too much to make a music video for every song. And especially in like the kind of economy that we live in now, which is like constant feed of content, and there's people that like recommend releasing a song a week, and you can't make a video a week for the song a week that you're already doing unless you have like a huge team of people like around you, you know?
Oh yeah.
I also noticed, and maybe this goes hand in hand with the fact that you studied cinema. But you pretty much direct your videos, right?
Yeah. But like once again, this all boils down to like not really having like I'm I wouldn't say I'm reserved, but I am kind of like I like I can keep myself company. Let's just say it like that.
Yeah.
And so I don't necessarily have the connections or know a ton of people that, especially like growing up in France, they were more education centered, not really creative. Like kind of, they're more like, oh, I need to go to university and get my degree. I'm not really gonna like gamble it all on my passions per se. So a lot of that I had to kind of just do myself because no one else was going to do it for me. And so yeah, like the directing, the editing, the the filming, if I could do it myself, I would do it. But yeah,
Right.
I
you
feel
know,
that. Yeah.
if I could just clone myself or something and just be like, right, you stand there, you do this. But yeah, no, like I have luckily I have family that's supportive, so I just grab like my siblings and like come help me film. Um, but yeah, no, I think studying cinema did help in that respect, like because I learned how to edit, and I also did some stuff on the side that involved like filming. Like I made a few documentaries with this association, so a lot of that helped me pick up the skills I needed to kind of do this independent thing myself.
Yeah, I really dug the videos that I saw, and
Thank
I totally feel you with the like not having a team. Like Shep and I understand that so much.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, because when we first started this, we were just like a podcast. We were
Mhm.
reviewing Christmas themed horror movies.
Okay,
That's
that's
not
very specific.
yes, and we were doing it just for fun, and then like we
Mhm.
were doing it so much that we were like, hey, why don't we keep doing this? And then
Yeah.
Chase and Shep kind of started to become a thing, and
Mm.
the podcast grew, and then we did our first scripted series last year, and that in and of itself was a challenge. The first short film we did, it was just like the two of us and another buddy of mine helped out a little
Yeah.
bit, and it's we like everything we've done, you can tell we're getting more and more team. You know, just like
Yeah. That's
uh,
the best feeling. Sorry to cut you off there. Is just to look back on like when you started from zero and then you're like, okay, I did this better here, and then you just keep going up and finally you have something that like even though it doesn't feel professional, it actually looks professional to
yeah,
everyone else. So like you should give yourselves a round of applause because yeah, it's not easy.
yeah. I honestly, when we started this and said we've been doing this for 2 years, Chef, that
Mm.
kind of blew my mind a little bit. I can't believe we've been doing this for almost 2 years now, especially how far it's come. I mean, we've gotten into scripted content now, and we do so many different types of things, and the team is new. That is brand
Yeah.
spanking new. Like, when we did this series last year, it was still pretty much just the two of us, but then
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
show that we were going to do accidentally snowballed and became this bigger thing than we ever anticipated it being. And
Yeah.
we had a cast of people. We were shooting on location. We're doing all this stuff that we just did not anticipate. And it was still just the two of us. And then our homie Easy helped us like behind the scenes. And so we just had to do what we could.
Mhm.
There were times where I what you said earlier about it, you can clone yourself and film and be on like I feel you
Right?
100% there. Like I've
Mm.
been in that boat for so long. It's like if I could just be in both places at once because I love
Exactly.
acting, but I love being my own cinematographer too.
Yeah, because like it's kind of like only you know what you really want, and sometimes like artistic ideas you have a hard time expressing them. There's no way to like put them into words that paint like a clear picture, because
Yeah,
whatever you say, that person's always going to interpret it how they've kind of experienced life or their perspective. So you could say red and you want like a really bold color of red, but they're thinking of like a deep like velvet red or something, you know.
Oh yeah.
for sure.
I vibe with that pretty hard. I mean, yeah, like that's kind of where we were at, and we like the same boat of having these ideas and wanting to do it, but we didn't have a team, so we were like,
Mm.
we'll go do it. We'll be our own team. I can shoot
Yeah.
your scenes, you can shoot my scenes, and then we'll use the prop the camera up if we're both in the same one, and
Yeah.
figure it out. And like it's a challenge doing that for like music though, like because I've tried to do that with my own songs. I've done music, and trying to shoot
Mm.
a music video by yourself is like it's weird.
It's so weird. I think the only music video I shot by myself was this one called Good Pussy. I think like from one of my mixtape in 2020. I think it was like lockdown. And so I just set up two cameras on my desk, one on each side, and just kind of like mouth the words to the song on each side. And then in post, you just kind of cut everything up to make it look cohesive. But it was just really weird. I felt like a crazy person. Just I was like
It
screaming
was
at my
good.
camera alone. Like,
One earlier, and I really
yeah,
so it turned out really good.
thank you.
It can. It's like something. When I'm watching other artists' videos, sometimes you can spot it. Like, he must have just hung his phone up on a
Yeah.
string and had it in front of him there in this, because that's what it looked like. Maybe,
Mm,
well, they probably had a team, but it's like that's what it looks like to me. It's like I can
yeah.
mimic that on my own. Is where I'm looking
Mm,
at. Like I could tie something on a
yeah.
string,
Yeah.
but
That's
no.
that's the no, that's I think that's the coolest part too, just seeing people that have done it on their own or have made something cool on their own and being like, okay, I can kind of do that or replicate that and do something creative by myself as well.
Mhm. I think I've always had that mindset because I haven't had a team, and I always like will have such ambitious ideas,
Mm,
constantly trying to challenge myself of like, okay, I mean, we still do. I mean, our team has only grown by a handful of people, but we're still constantly thinking like, how do we do this on our own? And like I know the biggest challenge for me for so long was like, what can I write that is still like a solid story, something that's intriguing and engaging. That's just me that I can film and that I can act and I can do all of this, and that's always
yeah.
been such a challenge to me. But then like somebody like Bo Burnham comes along and
Mm.
makes it decide. I don't know if you ever saw that or not, but like, wow, like
Wait, what was it?
Bo Burnham, the comedian, um,
Yeah.
he made a special during lockdown called
Oh,
Inside.
yeah, I know. I actually saw the hype, been meaning to watch it, and never got to it.
Yeah, it
But
was.
yeah,
They even it went to theaters for a minute, and I had
okay,
to go. I was like, I have to see this in theaters. Like this was, it wasn't a movie, but it was my favorite movie of that year. Like it
yeah.
was that good, and he did it all by himself. And I was
The
just,
way everyone was talking about it, it sounded more like a movie than a special. Like it was a movie featuring Bo Burnham kind of thing. So, in fact, I should probably like remind myself and put that on my list to go watch that.
it's truly incredible.
Mm,
It
I've
definitely just
never
like,
seen that either.
man, it just puts me to shame. Like I watch it, and I'm like, well, it's just one of those things that as a creator, like you see it, and you're like, why do I even do this? Like, like this is so good.
right? Yeah, but I guess like he had like the budget for it also because
Yeah,
you gotta put those things into factor as well. That's why when I see like big artists or creators doing their thing, I try to remind myself that like they can do it that way because they have the money, the funds, the team, or whatever.
yeah,
Now it's my time to kind of innovate it and kind of do it a different way. Because when we think about it, each like wave of like influencers, artists that we've had have done something, they've had to do something by themselves. Therefore, they innovated and changed kind of like whatever they were going into, they changed that slightly. And I think that it's just our turn now. Like I see like on the internet, people are looking for more authentic people. They're tired of the like internet beef and the drama and the stunts for views kind of thing, and they're looking for more authentic creators and people
yeah.
that are putting time and quality and effort into creating content that they care about, like the creator themselves care about, not just catering to what the audience wants to see. And so I feel like we're switching, we're coming around to a different era now of the internet, and we're going to see some new authentic creators and artists, and I'm very excited for that actually.
No, I feel you. I mean, I would akin that to like, back when I was younger, we had those shock musicians, like shock entertainers. They were going to
Yeah.
go out there and they were off the walls. They were having all this crazy ass stage show because
Mm,
it created the buzz. If they're in the headlines, then
Then
people are going to have their ears on them. And I feel like that kind of transitioned over to the streamers and
yeah,
influencers and
definitely.
YouTubers, and they took a note from their book and took it into a different route than even they did, because you know times of the cultures evolved too with the times, so uh, they can't be as shocking as they used to be. But it's kind of like in these days, there's still the way that they switched it up was more like two people. Like when I was younger and we were filming,
Mm,
you couldn't just film in public. It's like you had to go
yeah.
get forms, and everybody had to sign all these forms. And then it's like nowadays you can just go out there, pop your phone right open, start recording me on the street, like, and
Mm.
next thing I know, I'm viral, and it's like I didn't want to be in this shit.
Yeah, that's so true. Like anyone could film now. Now that I think about it, you could like in places that you're not supposed to film a music video, you can just take out your phone and
Mhm.
pretend you're snapping a picture, but you're like taking a whole music video. You know what I mean? And just cut that up, and people are like, "Wow, how did you do it in that location? It's crazy." Blah blah blah. And it's like because everyone's filming now. Even when I go out to film my videos, I feel like there's no point getting a permit because if I was just to come with my phone, then it would be a different story, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We pretty much did that when we did our 420 sketch show this year, and uh, I mean, we actually like our when you watch our content and like from the series we did last year to like the stuff we started releasing this year, there's
Yeah.
like this huge jump in quality. That's because we quit shooting on our DSLR and started shooting on my iPhone.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, it's just such a great tool. I mean, right there in
Mm.
the pocket. And there's apps to bring out the most of your camera, and that's exactly what we did. And that's why we never bothered with any of that kind of shit, is because we just film on the phone. And most people look at it and they're like, You're just going to use that phone?" Like I've done some music video gigs before where they're like,
Mm.
"Oh, you're using your phone? You don't have all this equipment?" And then I show them the finished product, and they're like, "Oh, holy shit!"
Okay,
That's
wow.
it's a big difference. Plus, like I see these people lugging around like 50 bags of
Mm.
stuff, and I just have a phone in my pocket. It's definitely nice.
That's nice. Because I have like kind of kicked myself lately because I haven't been making as much content at least for TikTok as I would have liked to, and I'm like I just have a phone in my pocket. Why can't I just pop it out and just film whenever I'm doing something that seems even just slightly interesting. So I'm that's my challenge to myself is to be able to pop out my camera more without having a total idea of what I'm filming, just popping it out to get into the habit of just filming regularly, you know?
Yeah, I think some people though do have a hard time with that. Like to some people, I've had a conversation with some of the people we do stuff with before about how everything is content. Like there are those people with that mentality of like everything is content,
Yeah.
and we're just not those people.
Mm.
And so people will tell us all the time, "Oh, you need to do this, and you need to do this, and you should get a TikTok, and you should do that."
Mm.
And it's
Yeah.
like this is not who we are. It's just not what we do. And I feel like not every artist does have to do that.
No, yeah, you're
I feel
exactly
like
right.
you gotta get your phone out and record stuff all the time. When the
Yeah.
moment strikes, that's when you should do it.
Exactly, yeah. But you shouldn't force yourself to do something that you can't sustain like and
Right.
also it depends on your niche and the audience you're trying to hit. Like some audiences don't want to see you pop up on their feed every day. Some people don't even check in on social media as much. Like I think we as creators have a skewed vision of how everyone else uses social media because we're on it on the time all the time. We just assume that everyone else is on it all the time, so that's why we need to be present 24/7.
Right.
But in fact, like when I think about my siblings and how they use social media, and it's like they're not really like checking out their favorite artists or whatever like 24/7. Sometimes it's just a quick minute, 5 minute scroll and then closing it. They probably won't visit again for a day and then they'll come back on the other day. Like it's up and down. So it really depends on you and you need to tailor it for like how your energy and your work ethic and the things going on in your life because we're past that Gary V area. You know, like
Mhm.
Gary V was very much that that guy that put everyone onto like hustle real quick, go fast. You need to be constantly doing this. And now I'm seeing some people say, "Oh, hold on, you don't need to be as fast. You can go at your own pace and still be successful." So I think that's something that I need to keep in mind a lot as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's about that, and like you were saying, I like me as a musician, I took it into like viewing myself and my own habits, and it's like, do I go, am I buying into hype for albums and stuff? And it's like, if it's an artist I've like listened to my entire life, maybe it's like,
Mm,
but until that single is actually like, hey, here's this new video right here. Okay, I'll hit play and watch that.
yeah.
So like, as an artist, I started being like, well, why hype? Like, let's try stop hyping stuff for a month and a half. Posting every other day about this song, and then
Mm,
get just post the fucking song when it's ready to go and done out of nowhere. Hey
yeah.
guys, just dropped a song, and it's like even like Facebook these days. I feel like that you can play into that because if you don't post constantly and people like your page, and then
Mm,
you go and you post a brand new song, video, whatever it is, everybody that follows you gets a notification like,
vacation, yeah.
hey, so and so posted for the first time in a while. Go check out the post. So now you're
Mm,
given notifications that and all you're playing into the algorithms you really got to play into.
yeah.
But yeah, even like that, I noticed over time all my like local friends that were musicians. Some of them they'd only hit me up like, "Hey, my new song came out. Go listen to it. Hey, I just
Mm,
dropped this video. You should give it a share." Or they'd tag me in it. And it's like
yeah.
after a while, it's like I told one of my friends he was gaining a lot of hype, and I'm like, dude, stop hitting people up like they're just a viewer, a number. And I'm like, just maintain a conversation with people on life,
Yeah.
and then just trickle that in. Oh yeah, by the way, I just put out this song the other day. I'm like,
Mm,
and they're probably gonna go listen to it because they don't feel like they're being sold on something. You're just sharing something you did with them.
mm. We're so used to. I think I saw this in a video the other day that said, people are so used to ads that when you blatantly just be like, "Oh, hey, my new song is out. Go listen to it," they're not receptive to that because you haven't put it in a pill they can swallow. They kind of just like, ah, it's another ad, kind of like, what's
Yeah.
different from you than the millions of other people that told me to go listen to their new song, kind of thing. So yeah, and it's actually surprising the amount of independent artists that don't actually listen to that. Like you're saying about your friend, I know like some independent artists, they're not online at all, and then their new song comes out and up their post once, and they're like, "Oh, new song's out, go check it out." And then they come back and they're like, "Oh, why is no one listening to my song?" kind of thing, or like, why is it taking me so long to to build a fan base? I also know other artists that don't post often, but they're like popping off on streaming platforms, um, but their promotion is kind of a bit more money oriented, where they'll pay for like playlists and ads and all that stuff. But
Hmm.
they're still, I mean, it works for them, right? So you need to, like I said, find that balance and also just put the work in. I think what a lot of it is not wanting to, or thinking that you can just do it once and then you should get everything that comes with the hard work, kind of thing. So and artists need to learn how to talk to people normally. We don't know. We just copy Drake and Rihanna, that all they do is post out now and then a million people listen to their song. And we need to learn how to actually talk to people. Like I know like a few artists that will just be like, they will talk to fellow artists as if they were just another random fan that just listened to their music. And it's like, bro, I'm an artist, I'm supporting you, come support me too. Like, you
Yeah.
know, you can't. We live in an era where it's just, oh, give me this, give me this, give me this, give me this, and no one is willing to give back. And I think that's why we see a lot of independent artists struggling to build and grow a fan base.
Yeah, I feel like that's been a problem for sure. I mean, that artists not supporting artists thing, and there is, two sides to it for sure. Where it's like there's the people who are just blatantly not supporting people that they should be supporting,
Yeah.
because we've had that where it's like we've
Mhm.
been in somebody's corner doing all sorts of stuff for them, and they can't even follow us on YouTube.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, I see what you
that
mean.
for us. Like I don't care if you watch the shit, just you can at least hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, you can even subscribe, and if you don't have time, just watch from time to time. Like even me, I'm trying to be more subconscious, like conscious with that. Is make sure I am supporting the people that I'm interacting with, and if I don't have the time, even if I'm just playing it on the background, just to give them that view because it's hard work.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, I've definitely tried to do that as well. I followed you on YouTube
Mm.
when Shep told me we'd have you on the show and everything. It's like, well, I'm not gonna not follow her. I mean, if she's coming to support the show, then we're gonna support her. Uh,
Always.
and I mean, the music's great too, so that's a
Thank
plus.
you.
Um,
I can't remember if I followed you. I'm like normally I have this rule that I have to interact with the person first and watch their content
yeah,
because I
I feel
can
that.
have I've done it before where I've just followed everyone back and then
yeah.
halfway through the year like I actually just do not like what you're posting on my feed and now I have to kind of deal with it. But I do my best to make sure I show everyone love, because
I know the other thing that like I talked about with somebody is like we were talking about podcasts in particular, but we were really talking about content in general.
yeah.
It's like if everybody has a podcast, who's listening to these podcasts? you know,
Yeah,
and it
that's
was
so
a
true.
great point because we've been doing this show for 2 years now, and
Mm.
I don't listen to podcasts like that. So I have a really hard time telling people to listen to our podcast.
Yeah,
But
that's
I
so
don't listen
true.
to podcasts. Like, I just it's not my favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
That's why I've always liked the video approach.
I think the video has really helped the podcast
Yeah,
because I'm the same as you. I don't like unless it's like a specific podcast that I like music marketing or music business. Those are the kind of things that I listen to, but it's not regularly. It's not like, oh, I'm going to the gym, let me pop on a podcast. My favorite thing to listen to on Spotify is music, not a podcast. But having the video now really helps. Then help like sit down because it's like a book almost. You can be like, oh, I stopped here, well I'm going to pick this back up later in
Mhm.
this spot, and you can watch the video and the faces and the reaction, and it's just much more, I don't know, it's just nicer.
personal, yeah.
It is. I think the older that I've gotten, what I've started, especially nowadays, like how much content, like you guys are saying, is out there. What I've done is like, to me, it's like the podcast I'm going to go listen to usually is a friend, like somebody that I know, like our friend
Yeah.
John. He puts out his podcast and stuff, and I'll listen to that. And it's just people that I've had a personal connection with. And like recently I've started thinking about that with music. It's like, yeah, I got my general big pond of music I listen to,
Mm,
but I'm like, there's got to be a point where it's like there's people I've made real good connections with here. Like, why can't I just make a playlist of music that I just in general listen to, and I just can't figure out what to listen to? That's all
mm,
these people that I personally know, because like I said, it just goes around. It helps all of them out,
exactly,
and
yeah.
you're just building it up. Even if it's just giving them confidence, they see on their little artist thing. Oh man, I just got another playlist. Like, okay, cool. Like,
Mm.
hell yeah. Because like me, as I have one song that keeps doing that, and every time I see somebody put it on another playlist, I'm like, oh shit, hell yeah, like that's what's up.
Yeah, you get so hyped, you're like, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like it doesn't matter.
especially especially when you see it's like a personal playlist,
So
and
Yeah.
that's the best feeling, like, yeah. You put that on your personal playlist.
Oh yeah, I think well, even that song, I think that somebody put it on a playlist called like "Reasons to Live" or "Songs to
Oh,
Live
that's
For" or
so
something like
dope.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you see something like that, and it's like, I'm just sitting, still sitting here. I work my 9 to 5 jobs. I do my thing. I
Mm,
ain't big, but it's like I created something somebody wanted to add to a playlist that was like, hell yeah, this gives me a reason to live. I like this. So it's
yeah.
like, to me, that's success. Like, to me, that's a,
That's
you know,
you
yeah,
can't really buy that feeling, yeah.
and
Knowing that you've helped someone move past an obstacle, continue on just from hearing your song that you thought like you thought your song wasn't going to do anything. You just put it out there because you have to create, and then
yep.
someone's there like, oh wow, this helped me so much. That's a completely different feeling, yeah.
that's my favorite thing about art. I mean, at the end of the day, like fame, fortune, all that shit. It really doesn't compare to being able
Mm,
to make the things that you want to be seeing or hearing, or I always go off of like I'm my own audience. Like I am an audience member. I listen to music, I watch movies, I read books. I know what I like, and I know what I want to consume. And so people will always try to hit you with the, oh, nobody's going to watch that, nobody's going to listen to that. But like, yes, they will. There's somebody out there. I want to, so you can't tell me that nobody wants to. And I think just being the audience helps a lot. And because there have been so many times in my life where a movie or a book or something has come along at just the right time of my life and has drastically changed it. And even just with this specific podcast, when we started, we just rebranded like a month ago. But before we started calling it Mellow Monday, we were Mental Health Monday.
Okay.
The purpose behind doing the show was because I was inspired. I have this condition that doctors don't really know a whole lot about it, and I was really struggling to find hope in it and to learn more about it. And I came across this woman on YouTube. Her name is Christine Mariello. We've had her on the show a few times now, who had the same condition. And here she was on YouTube just talking about it. And I felt so much better just being able to hear somebody who got it, who related. I've had that thing in art as well. And so that's what was a big influence on us doing this show in particular, is we need to just get out there and talk about stuff, and whoever comes along, and that's why we've continued, of all the shows that have come and gone as we've done this one has remained, because this is the one that people always say, like, hey, where was your show on Monday? People genuinely enjoy that little, getting your mind right on Mondays,
That's amazing. Yeah.
It's a communal thing. And I feel like, talking about what we were talking about earlier about building a fan base and everything, I'm not a big social media person myself, and I don't buy into that. I don't want to play the algorithm game. I don't want to do any of that.
Yeah.
I told Shep when we first started, like, I'm not trying to be a YouTuber.
Okay.
Like, I have no desire to be a YouTuber. I want to be a producer. I want to make movies and shows, and basically just bypass. It's like if we write something, I'm not going to wait around for somebody to pick up the script. We literally have a platform where we can just start releasing the show. We have to just do it ourselves.
Yeah.
That's the only thing, But eventually, there's so many success stories like that where, Broad City on Comedy Central started as a YouTube thing. I'm pretty sure Issa Rae, before Insecurity, she also had like a YouTube series, and just like so many people who just started like that. They're like, fuck it, I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to make my own show. And in doing that, obviously we've bombed people with like, hey, follow our Facebook, and sent out, invites and everything. But that never shows returns like making personal relationships. Like all the people that we've met and all the people who are really connected with the show. And I've always said that makes me feel so much better. Like I would rather have that than some just whatever subscriber. Like at least I know that those numbers mean something. Like they are here because they want to be here. They don't feel like
they have to. Yeah, that's something new, because I know in the beginning when I like in 2020, I was very much focusing on the numbers. I think it wasn't more just, it's because the numbers to me represented people, and if I had the numbers, it mean people were listening, and that was like, I still have an obsession with numbers, but like I like, as I went on, it came clearer to me that people can buy the numbers. It doesn't mean that there's actual people behind those numbers. So now my focus has very much more shifted into building that community, reaching out to people, making connections, and kind of just being creative. I think the like, to sum it up, is just being creative, because I can be a musician, but I would still want to collaborate with like a fashion designer. It's just that process of making something and like creating that final thing is what I love the most about just being a creative in general. So
definitely the collaborative process is one of the best things, honestly.
Definitely.
It's easy to be a pretentious artist and be like, no, this is mine. I just make things, and
right.
there's really like something magical about getting together with multiple people and creating something, having this
Mm.
end goal together. And,
Yeah.
we're the same way. I mean, I think we've got our hands in all sorts of stuff. I know I do. I mean, I have a not for kids book we're working on. We got
That sounds very interesting.
music and movies and shows, and
Yeah.
we're just constantly working on stuff because we just
Mm.
love to. And I think
Yeah.
we said it once on the show. We've said it a billion times that like we we were talking about like seeing that progression, like getting better.
Mm.
We always left everything up on YouTube. It does not matter how shitty it is.
Yeah.
We've had some shows where like his power went out and I had to hold my phone up, and we did the whole show like that. We just rolled with it.
That's dedication.
The first when we first started doing this, it was just like the two of us in recliners in this room,
Yeah.
and shit like that. And we've come so far since then. But we love seeing that. We love seeing that.
That's the best part. Yeah. I think that's like on YouTube and on social media, that part hasn't been shown yet. All we've seen is the results kind of thing. So it's kind of awesome to think that we're kind of maybe like leaving a trace of something, like something people can go back to and be like, oh, this is where they like went from to this is how they did that then. Because that was my whole thing with my SoundCloud. I was trying to every single song I had, I wanted to just put it up on my SoundCloud and then just let people go back and be like, oh, so she started off really shit, like, and then she got better, like, but then SoundCloud introduced that storage thing, so I had to delete a few songs. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, the progression is where it is. That's the best part, I think.
Yeah, it's like, I know there was something I was getting this. Oh, it was the we constantly talk about. You will see in that progression sometimes where we really dip in quality is times where we started pandering to the audience. That's when we started thinking more about the audience rather than us as the audience, and that's when our stuff starts to suffer. Like that's when we have a hard time making things. That's when our stuff just isn't the highest quality it can be because we clearly just don't care as much. It's not coming from the heart. We're just trying to appease an audience, and I just am a firm believer in letting the work speak for itself. And that's always where our best results come from. It's just kind of trusting in ourselves, our team, our process, all that.
Yeah, I understand that too because I think it wasn't long ago, a couple of weeks ago, where I got obsessed. Like my thing is to just search stuff up on Google. I don't know why it started ever since I was like a teenager. So every time I feel stuck somewhere, I'll just be like, all right, how do I do this? And so my main thing the past couple of weeks is how do I build a fan base? But I noticed the more I searched for the answer, like in brackets, because there's no answer, the more like I demotivated myself and kind of just like stopped posting and didn't really want to make music or anything like that, which is weird because I kind of like that research kind of thing, but then it has the opposite effect if you do it too much and just kind of blocks your creativity because you're obsessing over just like one thing when there's other like more creative things you can put your energy into that will provide you with the outcome that you're looking for, kind of, or give you a better outcome than you even hoped for.
No, I've been there plenty of times. Like I've done music for about 20 years now myself. So like I've done the research trying to figure out, how to build fan base. When I first started, it was, get some CDs, press them up, go out into the parking lots, hand them out to people, get your name out there. Which I still constantly now meet people that 20 years ago I gave a CD. They're like, I still have one of your CDs from way back in the day. That's funny.
That's
And it's
amazing.
like, and I still think that like nowadays it's almost full circle. I feel like you could almost go out and start doing that again. People would be more, because now we got QR codes and stuff. You can just hand out like
right,
pins
just
or stickers or something. You ain't giving CDs, but
yeah
you know, trying to build the fan base was always just the main struggle. And yeah, anytime I focused on that, I feel like, it deteriorated it because it almost, like then you're coming across like you want that. And then that's like off-putting to me in a way of people, like you almost come off, because I remember being on like Twitter trying to do like follow trains, like, oh, I'll get on this follow train and you all follow me, I'll follow all you. And, you know, other people that were artists were like, dog, I don't want to get on my Twitter and see the first 35 posts is just you on follow trains, you know, retweeting all this shit. And so then they'd start unfollowing me. And then that's where, like, now on my Twitter, it's like, well, shit, I can't really use it because if I pop it up, I follow like 600-700 people and I got like 600-700 followers, but I don't know any of these fucking people or what they're posting or anything.
Yeah, yeah. No, the follow. I did that with my first YouTube channel with the, for sub with the was it Google Plus from
Oh
back
yeah.
in that time, and I got to like my first 100 subscribers, but it didn't like when you got there, it didn't give me anything. The views were still bad. Like it didn't help. And now I was just subscribed and I was getting a bunch of videos in my feed that I was never gonna watch because I'm subscribed to people that I don't know their content. I don't like their content.
Right.
And I probably never even watched a piece of their content before. It was just because it was a sub for sub thing. So then you have all these dead followers or dead subscribers, and there's like nothing to show for that effort you made with the follow thing. So yeah, we all got pretty wise to that. After a while, we're kind of like, all right, guys, let's just stop doing this because it's not working for anyone. But
Right.
yeah, I remember that was how they told you to build your YouTube channel when you first started, was to do the sub for sub till you got 100 subscribers, and then from there the subscriber count would grow. But it didn't.
Yeah, I don't think ours really has grown. We've hit, forget where we're at, like 150 or something.
I think so. We keep fluctuating. There's somebody who likes to subscribe and unsubscribe. It's always
That's the worst. I don't like
we're
like
at 154, but on any given day it could be 155. So
yeah,
it
that
just kind of
happens a lot as well to me. Yeah, just like flopping back and forth between subscribing and not. So
but and that's another one of those things where like that could be very easily discouraging, because I know we had 50 subscribers at the end of 2021. Is that right? I think. What is this? No.
No, it'd have been in 2020.
That's what I meant. 2020, we had 50 subscribers, so that
Mm.
at the end of 2021, we knew how far we had come, and I think we were just shy of 100 subscribers, like over the course of
Yeah.
that. So
I like to
that's cool,
yeah. I like to put it in terms of like business terms. I'll be like, oh, so I doubled my growth this year. Hold on, sorry, hold on, sorry, I live at home, so
Oh no, you're all good.
sorry about that. But yeah, I'll be like, I doubled my growth or I tripled my views or something like that. Even if it's like, so when you say like you guys doubled your growth because you started with 50, then the next year you're at 100. Like to other people, it might not seem much, but if you say double, it makes it seem like more of an accomplishment. Like I don't know, I doubled my growth.
No, I know exactly what you mean. I get those little, like from Apple Music, I'll get those statistics that be like, you had 307% growth in listeners this past month. And it's like,
Yeah.
I probably, it's like I went from 2 average listeners to, 5. Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you say it in those terms, like, well, shit, I grew 307% over the last month.
Yeah.
It's like,
but the percentages don't lie. That's actually a crazy percentage, really, to grow up. It's just when you see the single numbers, you're like, oh, the 2 to 5 people. What is that?
we did. This year was the first time we had like something really blow up, and that was one of those moments where we had to check our expectations at the door, because like half of me is like, oh my god, we did it, like we've busted it, like we're in now, because our 420 special this year, it was like, I don't know, maybe it might have been like a week after it came out or something, and it just I checked it and I thought something was wrong. And I like refreshed the page. I'm like, it still says this. Like it's saying that hundreds and hundreds of people watched all of a sudden, and that's the only thing we have that broke 1,000 views. And like that split second, I'm like, we made it. We did it.
Yeah.
Like, and of course, nothing ever got those kinds of views.
Same thing. Yeah. Well, it
Well,
happens. Like you get breakthrough videos, but it just the, the momentum you see other people carry on doesn't carry on. Meaning it was a good video, but not the video. Like,
it was very encouraging in the sense that, like, going back to like a lot of people wanting to tell you what to do with your content to like make it, and it's like, well, we very specifically like, okay, yeah, we could just do skits on YouTube or
mm,
just TikToks and stuff. That's what tons of people do, but that's not what we wanted to do. We wanted to make a show. And
yeah,
so, we're working on a show now that like we're feeling really good about, because the reaction to the 420 show, I mean, it's the same formula, just now on a weekly basis.
yeah.
And we know people enjoy that. People, there's something about that. I don't know, maybe the effort that goes into it. Like, I don't know, like, sometimes, like, I personally love watching people on YouTube that's like they made this. They really tried to produce something like
Researched it. Yeah, they made a whole script for it. Yeah, I definitely like. I think my favorite genre of YouTube at the minute is commentary videos. So I don't know. I like the research, and sometimes it's the commentary videos aren't even on recent subjects. They'll be like, "Oh, so this happened years ago, and let's explore why." And I just find that really cool.
um so what, I guess, like, what are some of your influences, like, when it comes to just your art in general?
Uh, well, that's a large question.
Music, or like go big.
Yeah. In music, I would say, man, I'm all over the place in music because I started off as like an emo kid. Like I listened to a lot of like metal. Beartooth was like my favorite metal band. Bring Me the Horizon, all that stuff, the good stuff, you know.
Oh yeah.
Um, and then I got to university and I switched to hip hop, complete 360. But then with hip hop, I found XXXTentacion and Drake, and those were kind of like, and Doja Cat. I think those three, like, and Nicki Minaj, those three like were the main influences. And in my emo phase, it was Panic at the Disco, Paramore, and 21 Pilots for sure.
Oh yeah.
So that's in the music realm. Um, in film, I in film, like I think there's only really one director that I know I really like, and that was Steven Spielberg. And I remember watching his movie Super 8, and I just I really loved that movie. I don't know why. It was Steven Spielberg was just the anytime his movies would come on, I was like, yeah, let me watch that. I know it's going to be interesting visually, plot wise. Maybe there's some things you won't understand at the end of the movie, so you have to watch it again. you know and then yeah, literature, like in literature wise, uh I'm trying to think of books I've read at school. um oh Literature wise, I would say, I can't remember, I can't remember who wrote this, but the Alex Stormrider book series.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know that one, the one I'm talking about. I used to love those books. That I'm anything action, spy, sci-fi, comedy. I'm there. Really, those are my genres.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can feel you on being all over the place with like musical
Mm,
taste. I'll pretty much listen to just about whatever.
yeah.
And
Well,
I know for me, like, we have plenty of friends who are musicians and stuff. I have always had a passion for music. That was always like my secondary passion, and like a lot of
mm,
people didn't know that about me because I'm such a film nerd. Like, first and foremost, that like you can just tell that from meeting me. Ever since I was like a toddler, like I've always been that way. But I love music. I've always loved music. I lived
mm,
in the sea for a brief time, and like that's really when things really started to bubble up a little bit more for me, being around more and more musicians. Coming back here, all my friends are musicians, and so at the beginning of 2020 is when I started to explore that side of myself a little more.
okay.
I
How?
finally got a computer to be able to do stuff on.
Yeah. So
And
you produce music?
yeah, I love electronic music. uh,
Okay. Yeah. That's
and
good.
have you grown up in France like your whole life, or?
I grew up the first 8 years. I grew up in the UK, and then I moved to France until I was 18. Then I went to university till I was 21, and now I'm back in France to work.
Yeah.
Just back and forth. Yeah.
So many of my influences are basically like French electronic music. I mean, Monsieur was how do you say his name? It's in America. A lot of people just say Mr. Oizo all the time, but I know that's not how it's actually pronounced. Um, but his name is Quentin Dupeau. He directs movies too, like
Okay.
weird
Yeah.
movies. Um, but I know you just watched one the other day, Shep. Rubber.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So he was a big one. Daft Punk was a big one.
Yeah.
But it's just like it's weird being the electronic guy when
Mm,
everybody else is like, like a legit musician as it seems to be. Whether they're hip hop artists or they do acoustic stuff, they play an instrument, and then I'm over here making shit on my computer. But it's like for me, because I don't know, music. I think that's the most free I feel like artistically,
mm.
because I don't care to be a famous musician. Like
Yeah, that's what I mean.
my goal is to be a filmmaker,
Mm.
to work
So
in
you
that.
can just do that, kind of explore it at your own leisure, take your time, have
I'm
fun
just
with
making
it.
shit for me at a certain
Yeah.
point. Yeah, just having a good time.
That's the if I kind of miss making music like that. I'm not gonna lie. Some of it recently has been more concentrated on like, okay, I just like, obviously I still make sounds that I want to hear. It's just that I've kind of perfected my songwriting to fit in a box. Whereas if you hear some of my old tracks, I used to make really weird. I don't know if it was weird, but they were hip hop, but
Yeah,
like they were kind of like left field kind of sound. And then I kind of wanted something I could sing along to, so I moved into more the melodic kind of rap. But having that experimental kind of like space to do that in music is just, that's where the fun is. That's really cool.
one of my biggest influences as well. Probably my favorite band is Gorillaz,
Oh
and
yeah,
and that like I'll make this music all the time, and because I have all these rapper buddies and stuff, and even people who aren't rappers, like Damon Albarn's constantly collaborating with anybody and everybody. It doesn't matter, it can be anybody from like Vince Staples to Elton John, like,
yeah,
and they just have such a wide range, and I love that. Like I love that you can't put Gorillaz music in a box,
yeah,
and so I'll make songs and I'll send them to people, and they'll be like, "Dude, I can't write anything to this." And I'm like, "Bullshit! Like, you might not be able to, but
try your hardest.
somebody can." And that's something I haven't been able to do a whole lot yet, but I'm looking
Mm,
to is that collaboration with music.
yeah.
So like, I've got all this stuff that's pretty much just instrumental.
Mm,
I'm just looking for that next step of like just finding random artists to start creating
yeah.
something new.
Feel free to hit me up anytime. I always love a challenge of singing on stuff that's not like, I listen to all music, like house music, drum and bass sometimes. Not a lot of it, but sometimes. So I'm always down to try and do something different, new, fuse genres or anything like that.
Oh yeah.
That's what's up.
I wanted to ask, Shep, what kind of music do you make?
So when I first started making music, I was into like the horrorcore type of rap. So
Yeah.
Insane Clown Posse was big. This was the early 2000s. Um,
Mm,
so that's what actually pushed me into doing music. I just love the storytelling aspect of it,
yeah.
and like you're creating your own world in a sense. Like
Mm,
you're the Insane Clown Posse. They made their own little bubble of characters that would pop up,
yeah.
that like if they talked about this one guy in a song, you're like, oh shit, 2 albums ago he was in this one song, and now so I was really like that. And then everybody I know did hip hop, so then that's what I did. And then when I was like growing up, started maturing, I was like, I don't want to keep talking about killing people or something, like all this murder stuff. So then I went for a while, I kind of swapped it up and changed my like stage name to Johnny Cash, and made what I called like hippie hop. It was more like a poppy, stoner, happy type
Okay.
of
Yeah.
music, and
Mm,
I've done that for a while, and I think what was it, like 2 years ago, I finally figured out a way to kind of like get the best of both worlds
Yep.
now,
But yeah.
to where on 420 I usually release the stoner, laid back, hip
Yeah.
hop type of like a release there. But then October 1st, I'll release a Halloween themed album.
Mm,
That's like, okay, well, this one's going to be off the rails. If I, talk about some weird shit, I'm going to save it for this.
yeah.
So that's what I kind of been doing. Like, so here lately, that's I've been recording a ton of Halloween themed music
Getting
here.
ready for October. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it's come along nicely. So I like it, and having this platform that we've had now helps too with that. I feel like because now it's
Mm,
like here's a space for people to come listen. Like he said, we talked like a whole year on mental health, so like you can get to know who I actually am at my core
yeah.
here, to where like then you can go listen and realize, okay, he's just basically giving you an audio version of a horror movie here for a Halloween albums.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ain't about that life, but it's gonna sound. But
It sounds cool. Yeah.
and I'm trying to do those things that influenced me now, because like even like on my last Halloween thing, I did a song that was themed to a thing me and Chase did, a summer camp of horrors thing, and
That
then
that sounds scary.
it's not as scary as you would think. Sheesh. Um, and then this album I'm doing for this year, I'm doing a follow up, like a sequel to that song, but this will be taking place in a universe where things didn't turn out so good for me and Chase at the end of our thing. We might have gotten like succumbed to evil.
That sounds
So
like a whole movie that I want. I really want to see that movie.
well,
That
and
sounds so
then
cool.
I like doing that because then it does give us the option, like say me and him, next summer, if we decide, well, fuck it, let's film a sequel to Summer Camp, we can have these evil versions of me and him in here. And if people are
Yeah.
like, well, where the hell did they come from? Oh, well, Shep put this song out last year, which kind of
Yeah.
shows you the universe that they were in, that they didn't survive.
Mm.
And it's like, it's world
It's
building.
yeah, that's the best. That's my goal right now. I'm trying to concentrate more on like building a world. I already have a habit of like referencing old songs or lyrics I put in my old songs. So I really want to try and build upon that because I did used to like want to be a writer when I was younger, like write stories and all that stuff. But like I don't know, I lost the patience for reading and writing stories because of the internet. Really,
Oh, yeah.
I think it was started with Vine and then it just went downhill from there.
But there's, like, there's bands that have done that. Like Coheed and Cambria is one of them, that like their
Mm,
entire album saga is a story, and then they've got comic books that branch off and tell the stories of the albums and whatnot. And so
yeah,
I've always really liked that as a musician, that I've wanted it to be more of a a huge thing. And my last group,
universe.
yeah, and my last group I was in, it was called Rogue Tendency, and they were all into D&D and stuff like that. So then of course telling them this, they were like, oh hell yeah, let's build a huge universe. So now
Yeah.
it's like it's just evolved of like a blurred line of reality and fiction
Mm,
throughout 20 years almost now of music that I've done.
that's
and
amazing.
One of
and
my
it's like,
favorite things in fiction is like good world building.
oh
That's
yeah,
like we're both comic book nerds and stuff. Like, and
Yeah.
a lot of that for me is the world building. Like
Well,
it's
yeah,
I'm obsessed with that stuff.
yeah,
Like I love that I can jump into one comic and then jump out, go somewhere else, and it's like a whole other like part of the same world.
yeah,
That stuff, like I love it. I eat that shit up.
yeah. I'm a huge manga anime fan. That's that. I like the isekai where they get transported into another world via the video game or whatever they're watching. I love those ones. or
right.
or like anyone where you have to build a world from scratch again. I really like those ones.
For sure.
Any type of film movie with that in it, then I'm there to watch it.
I mean, we've slowly been, doing that with our stuff. I feel like we are in a weird like realm. Like we are a couple of weird dudes, considering that like I feel like our niches right now are like comedy, horror, mental health. It's like
The perfect blend. That's the perfect blend. I feel like everyone's niches are that when it like I don't know, because we're in a weird state of in the world right now of comedy, horror, and what was the last one you said?
Mental health.
Yeah.
Mental health. Yeah, yeah. Because we laugh at the antics that go on every day on the internet, but then the world is slowly like crumbling, and then we're all like, we should focus on our mental health, but then
Yeah.
just ignore it.
But take a breath,
Mm,
Yeah. But it's definitely been a lot of fun, and we're really excited, for the future of everything. Like, because
yeah,
we're very ambitious for as broke as we are. Like that was a huge part of our marketing for our show last year was like putting blatantly like on the trailer like the biggest no budget summer blockbuster of the fall because it didn't come out till fall. But it's just like we rolled with it. We leaned
I
hard.
imagine like the dramatic doom doom, like the cinema sequence
Oh
was
yeah.
like the
I'm like,
hottest.
a lot of people watch the trailer, and I would have to tell them afterwards when they were like, "Damn, that's really good." I'm like, "Well, whoa, 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 slow down. Like, you haven't seen the show
Lower
yet.
your
Maybe you didn't see what it said in the trailer. Just because we're good at editing doesn't mean you should expect anything too glossy."
like a high paced action movie.
That would be fun though. I mean, we have our dreams of being like, okay, let's do this kung fu or anything, any sort of genre. I'd love to tackle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're kind of doing that, with our next project. Every episode is a different genre, so I mean, we're kind of,
Is
just
there like a main theme to it, or is it just each episode is a different thing?
um, yes and no. It's a complicated answer, honestly, because
Some connect, some don't.
yeah, because we're building out this universe, and we always knew, again, being comic book nerds, we love the multiverse concept, and
Yeah.
so we've already dabbled in that within the show that we've already set up.
Mm.
So we were going to start leaning really heavy into this Chase and Shep multiverse, where we in every single universe, the Book of the Dead always finds the two of us. And there's always shenanigans of some sort. There's all sorts of different versions of us. And so the new show will delve into some of those other universes while expanding the one we've already built.
So
And
cool. Do you have to keep note of like all the little stories and tidbits? Yeah, yeah. I imagine because
I had to
the
make a
whole.
map like a couple months ago to keep it all straight.
Okay, yeah. Because
That's wild.
I'm toying. Obviously, like I said, I'm toying with the idea of building a world. So I'm like, I wonder how like Marvel do it and stuff like. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, they have to keep note and map out where they want things to go beforehand before like making the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, after a while, sometimes you're just like, if something stops making sense, you're like, okay, it's a different universe, but it's just this much different. Like it's all like all this other same shit happened.
Mm.
This is different. So, but it's a different universe.
It's a whole different.
There's plenty of little cop outs when it comes to sci-fi kind of.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
That's where the benefit of yeah, like we had no budget on the show that we made, but we had the benefit of being a comedy. So it's like anytime anything happens, we had a situation where we almost had to recast somebody, and we'd already filmed a few episodes with them, and it's like
Yeah.
we're gonna do it, and it's like if you think
Yeah.
we're not gonna recast you just because somebody would look different, like the tone of this show, it's as easy as dropping one line in here and going, did you get a haircut or something? And that's it, and that's all we say about it, like, and we're done.
I love when shows do that. There's shows that have done that before, and it's just really funny. Like, you guys fired the actor and got a whole new one, but apparently it's the same person. I love that. Wow. You can actually only do that in like comedy. That's very true.
Yeah. All right. I guess. Oh, I forget. With Mellow Monday, we always do a mellow out moment. I guess it's
We
that
do
time.
at the end of the shows. Yes.
We sure do. So, Shep, how about you explain the mellow out moment this week? Because I haven't been doing a great job at it.
I mean, the mellow out moment can either be a mellow out moment for yourself or for other people. And like in the past, we've done like like this past week, I had a week off work, so my mellow out moment was to mellow out this entire week, which I did plenty of. Or I think what your last one, Chase, was to tell fandoms, like ultra fandoms, to mellow out. That not every content has to lean into what the general fandom want, and not to get
toxic fandoms.
not to get upset if it doesn't, the theories don't play out the way that you've built it up for years and sometimes. So yeah, the mellow out moments can be pretty much whatever you want them to be.
The mellow out moment's a perfect example of us experimenting as we go. This is obviously something we've been attempting for weeks now, and I feel like it's still rocky, but hey, we're getting there. We're figuring it out.
Yeah, that's the best way to figure something out. Just jump into it.
So, I don't know. I think this is the week that I'm going to have to take a mellow out moment for myself. I've been moving, and happened very sudden. I wake up this week thinking that I was going to move, and then within 24 hours, I feel like usually when that happens to people, it's bad. Like somebody's getting evicted, and you gotta get the fuck out. But
yeah,
in this case, it was a good string of events that.
Okay.
So I was like, "Cool, I'm here for it." But yeah, I'm gonna have to chill out this week. Take a little mellow out moment for myself this week.
Do I go? Or
You can, yeah.
I've been busy, but work work is still new to me. So yeah, I should probably take out a mellow out moment this week. My big brother's getting married this week, so maybe
Nice.
I'll have a few seconds or maybe a minute to steal away at the wedding. Maybe later in the evening when everyone's gone to bed or something. But I can't wait to kind of get a few moments to just breathe. Yeah.
Nice. I guess my mellow out moment this week, I'll take it at some point. Because I'll be, like I said, I had a week off from work, so I'll be going back to work, having to get back up at 5:30 in the morning and getting ready and getting going and getting there. It's going to take some adjusting, and I'm sure because I do things specifically at my job. So when I come back on Monday, before this is this morning this is this will be after this, but I'm pretty sure today on this Monday I'm going to have to take a mellow out moment for myself because it'll be messy. And I'll have to clean up. That's always how it is, though. It's not a bad time. Just to take a mellow out moment and remind myself that not everybody works like I work, and they don't do they don't process how I process. That's okay. That's fine.
I have to constantly remind myself so I don't just randomly start hitting people.
Yeah. So I know that'll be my mellow out moment.
Personal mellow out moments across the board. Fantastic.
Hell yeah.
Look at us. That's healthy. Any closing thoughts? Anything you'd like to tell the people? Plug away.
Subscribe to Chase and Shep.
Hey.
I enjoyed myself. This was such a fun time. I love the conversation that we had. For any creators listening to this, I feel like we left a lot of gems. I don't know, maybe. But yeah, no, this was fun. This was incredibly fun. And if you have time or you want to look for some new music, new artists, come check me out. I'm Kange. That's Kange. And you can find me basically everywhere.
Kange, yes. It was really great having you on too, Kange, for sure.
Thank
and
you.
Everybody should go hit the sub on you for sure.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was a pleasure talking to you. I feel like we've had a great string of episodes recently with just very solid conversations.
Nice.
So this was another great one, and it was great meeting you. And we'll have to stay in touch.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna hit the subscribe button after this. So
yeah. And I guess to close out, we'll play another one of your songs, and if you guys at home like what you hear, go and check it out. This one is Sun Without the Rain.
Yeah, and we'll have the links in the description and everything below, so make it easy for everybody.
Hell yeah. Peace.
Bye.